Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. So tonight I got a really special review for you guys. Last Thursday I got a chance to see the new Halloween film almost 2 weeks before it's coming out in theaters down in Salem, Massachusetts. Ryan Turek was down there, one of the Blumhouse producers. So I was debating about bringing my poster or the Trick or Treat Studios Halloween mask, but decided not to. And then once I got there, found out that Andy Matichak from the film, who plays Laurie Strode's granddaughter, she was also there as well. So I was pretty bummed that I didn't bring that to have them sign those things, but I did end up getting the Funko FYE exclusive Michael Myers with the blood splatter, and I had them sign the top, so that was pretty cool. And I got some pictures with them. Both of them really nice, down to earth. Ryan, big horror person, and then Annie Matichak, she was just like one of the nicest people I've probably met. So they actually stayed for the screening, so that was cool. They did a Q&A to start it off, and then we went right into the movie. So before we get into it too, I'm not actually going to give away any spoilers in this review, so you don't have to worry about that. I might do one maybe later this weekend or next week once the film's been out. Just that way it gives a chance for everyone to see it just like I did, or any of the other people who have seen the advanced screening. So what are my thoughts overall? I love this film, and this was my most anticipated film going into the year. As soon as I found out this was getting released in October, this was my number one, even over Avengers Infinity War. I'm a big Halloween fan. Love the franchise, even though they've had kind of their missteps here and there. I was really looking forward to this, especially with having John Carpenter back, Jamie Lee Curtis back, Nick Castle was coming back. So you had a lot of, returning stars from the franchise. So was pretty excited and was curious to see what they were going to do too with, Danny McBride doing the writing, David Gordon Green directing. So it had some interesting aspects going into it. First off, what I can say is that I think this film is shot really well. So David Gordon Green, he did a great job with that. Overall, you get that fall Halloween sense that I think is really important for these films, and it just oozes that for me. So that was something right off the bat that I really liked and appreciated. You can tell that this is something that they were really passionate about and wanted to get right. So overall, film shot really well. As far as characters go, Jamie Lee Curtis is Laurie Strode. She's back. We get to see what she's been up to, the past 40 years, what that night had as far as an effect on her goes, and it's similar to kind of what they did in H2O. She was traumatized from the attack, but in this film, I feel like they kind of go another step further with that. And it's really interesting to just see that whole aspect play out, especially like her relationship, or what that's become with her family, her daughter, her granddaughter. She's kind of like, the outcast in town, no one believes her kind of thing. So I think she did a phenomenal job with that. And she has some really badass moments in the film as well, if you couldn't tell by, the trailers. As far as other characters go, so we had Annie Matichak, she plays the granddaughter. I thought she, put in a pretty solid performance. Judy Greer as the daughter, she was good. You had, a bunch of other like smaller characters throughout the film that, some of them were okay, some of them, but for the most part, you did care for them. It wasn't just kind of your typical generic characters that you find in a lot of like other horror movies. So specifically, can't think of her name right off the top of my head, but she's babysitting this one little kid in part of the film, and I thought they had a really good relationship. You didn't want to, I felt, at least in my eyes, you didn't want to see anything happen to them, so they both did a really great job. Nick Castle's back for, I believe he only did one scene. I actually got to interview the guy who's playing Michael Myers for a bulk of this movie, James Jude Courtney, and from what he told me, he said that Nick Castle is playing the part where Laurie Strode sees Michael for the first time. That was Nick Castle, but then for the rest of the film, other than the stairfall, that was James Jude Courtney. And you can check out the rest of that interview too. I'll actually put that down below, the link for that, so you can check that out. But yeah, James Jude Courtney as Michael Myers. I thought he was fantastic. He got all the mannerisms down for Michael. So just a great performance with him. Definitely lived up to my expectations. So definitely, I think you guys are gonna like, his interpretation of the Shape. There was like a couple characters that I felt like you don't really find out, what kind of happens with them. Their story arc kind of just like stopped. So that was probably like one of my nitpicks. You're kind of like, okay, like you don't know what happens to them. And then there is a Dr. Loomis-ish character in the film, and I forget his actual name from the movie, but he's supposed to be the new like Dr. Loomis' character. I didn't really care for him that much. Just comparing the two, you can never replace Loomis. And you can see the comparison, I guess, a little bit just because he's like obsessed with Michael Myers. But he has like a really weird arc in the film that I guess was like kind of shocking, but I just didn't really care for that much. But those are small nitpicks. Other than that, I mean, this film, it starts off, you have the filming crew doing the documentary thing, and they're visiting Michael. So that's kind of how the film starts off, and I won't go into any more detail really than that. There's a lot of Easter eggs. It starts off right in like the beginning titles. You kind of reference to Halloween 1 and 2 with a jack-o'-lantern, so I think fans will really appreciate that. And then as soon as, Michael escapes, as you see in the trailer, as soon as he escapes and he starts going on his killing spree, he really starts going on a killing spree. I mean, I'm pretty sure other than maybe 6, just because of the scene where, he kills like all those doctors or whatever, this might be, I would say it'd probably have to be up there with, his most kills in a single movie. And he's pretty brutal. So on par with kind of like probably like the Rob Zombie films. So they definitely, once they start going, they don't let up. And you don't get to see all of the kills, which I kind of liked. You see like the aftermath of it, and it just kind of less is more in this instance. So I think they did a really good job with that. It wasn't overly gory just for the sake of gore. So that was excellent. And for the Halloween franchise, I'm a big fan. But there's never been one that I've actually been like nervous or in suspense or scared or anything like that. They're films that I love to watch around Halloween or any other time of the year, but I just like to watch them in general. They're not really scary. But this film, there's actually, I would say like, the middle part of the film going into like the third act, there is some scenes that actually I was I was nervous for like the characters. I was actually, I found myself on the edge of my seat. So props to them for making me actually, care that much and invested in this film. It also probably ties in with the score. John Carpenter's back with his son Cody. They did the score. You have a lot of the similar stuff from like the first, the original movie, but then they've also revamped some tracks and added some like new ones in as well. And I have been listening to that thing nonstop since I've been able to get my hands on it since the film came out. I will tell you guys though that if you're looking to listen to the soundtrack, the score, and you haven't seen the movie, be careful because the track listing does have a lot of spoilers in it. So if you do not want any spoilers going into this film, avoid that track list. If you can somehow just download the tracks, don't look at the titles because there are spoilers in that. But overall, man, I had a blast with this movie. I think they did a really great job. I would love for them to do another movie. Who knows if we're going to get that. Hopefully if this film does well, it will. And from what it sounds like is this is on track to break some records. So hopefully we get some more Halloween movies. The ending, they kind of leave it open, but I won't go into detail with that. But yeah, I had a blast. I'm actually going to be seeing this again on Thursday, Friday night. I'm going to go see it opening night, with the rest of the crowd, so that should be fun. But yeah, overall, I don't know if I have an official ranking yet for the film in the franchise. I would definitely say it's probably up there with like in like the top three for me like right now. But I'll probably have like a final say on that once I see it again. Just let that kind of sink in. But overall, just to give it like a grade, I guess for right now on its own, I would say probably a 9 out of 10. I really like this film. It basically delivered on everything that I wanted it to, and I had a lot of expectations going in, so I'm pretty happy with that. So if you guys have seen the film, don't put any spoilers down in the comments, but just let me know what you thought, rating wise and things like that. And if you haven't seen the film, what are you most looking forward to? And just what are you guys overall, what is your favorite film from the franchise, and your reason why? Let me know down below in the comments. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this. Go check out Halloween, and I will see you soon. Have a good one, guys.